Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Heidi Christine.
Chief Meteorologist Rich Wardzik.
And we have been off air since about 9 p.m. yesterday,
yeah,
correct?
Just about. That's
just
when
about,
we took the hit.
But we are back now. We have limited resources. We are doing everything that we can to bring you the latest on this 2026 blizzard. So we have a show for you guys. It's what we got.
It's bare bones. I know you're used to seeing a lot of graphics behind us. You're used to seeing a lot of lights here in the studio. We are getting back online as fast as we can, but we're happy to say we've got our generator going at this point, got the signal back up. Probably like a lot of you who might just be getting your power back on or trying to tune in to see what's going on here with the storm. We want to be back online here to tell you what's happening. We've been on Facebook. We're now getting set here. We've had our reporters out in the field all day, and you guys have been out there keeping an eye on conditions. And I've been working with Jake and Eric here with the forecast. So probably a good idea to give a forecast update, right?
Yes,
we'll just
absolutely.
get started with that.
You take it away, Rich.
There you go. So don't have graphics here. We could go ahead and just think in your head what you would see. Right. So we know that the storm is over. I mean, that's an easy one to see outside. The winds have backed off a little bit, which is nice, right? Because the blowing and drifting, that's going to be the issue here going into tonight. I think what helped us here today, Heidi, was the fact that the sun was out for a little bit. The temperature was above freezing. Probably saw some melting in your neighborhood. That was really helpful. We're going down into the 20s tonight. So that's a big issue here with refreeze. Please be careful, too, with the shoveling, the wet nature of the snow. I know a lot of people want to get that off the sidewalk and the driveways here this evening before we get to the refreeze. But that is dangerous in itself, too, with the shoveling. But tonight, dropping into the 20s, feels like in the teens, nothing we can't handle for this time of the year. But given the circumstances here in a lot of places with power out, heat out, it's going to be a tough night. And I expect temperatures to climb back to the 30s tomorrow. A little bit of melting, but by midweek, we should be back, believe it or not, 40s and 50s pretty quickly. So this was a quick storm.
It was.
Yeah.
It came in quick, but I don't know how fast it's going to leave. But that is some heavy, wet snow out there just from the trees. So many down branches and trees. And you'll hear more about that later from some of our reporters who have been out working hard all day. But some of the trees just coming down and that wet snow is just like flopping. It's really loud. I was in the car and it just like, it scared me. It frightened me a little bit.
Well, it was paste. Basically, that wet snow is just so sticky, if you will. And it made for, I mean, just wonderful scenes. You got to look at it from the beauty standpoint, right? I mean, the trees across the area are beautiful, but you mentioned just the weight of them, though, the limbs and stuff. And one tree in my neighborhood just completely like pulled over down to the sidewalks. It was like a canopy. And then when it melted this morning, it was able to spring back up, but not all the trees were able to survive that. And that's what ended up with the power outages, the wind bringing down those limbs and trees.
That wind was just crazy last night. I personally have no power. We're located here in downtown Salisbury, and we obviously are struggling to get our power back as well. But yeah, I know many people are down on power. I've been all over the Salisbury Facebook group and many other Facebook groups all over the Eastern Shore, and just so many people, thousands, are out of power.
So, with the storm it ramped up so quickly yesterday. It was raining for most of the day. We knew we were going to get into a blizzard situation, but sometimes when people are outside and it's raining, it's 38 degrees, you're thinking like, okay, what's going on here? But it transpired so quickly over the course of a couple of hours. And you were actually, Heidi, one of the first reporters out in the snow. And I remember getting the video from you right after we lost power. Just talk about what you experienced, because I know when you went out it was probably just a few hours after this really started to unfold. So
yeah. Well, my power was flickering a little bit on and off. It went out for about 2 minutes, came back on, and then I heard a huge explosion. I think there was a transformer near me that blew, and I got some cool footage you might have seen. I mean, it's scary, but it's cool nonetheless. I saw on Facebook. Fire trucks coming in to take a look at it, and they're just taking a look. I still have no power, but see lots of that, lots of snow. The roads were just awful last night. Blizzard conditions, like you said, very low visibility. I personally wasn't driving out myself, but I've heard just around town, very low visibility there. Other than that, just slush, so much slush. I have not bought proper snow boots yet. I have rain boots. My feet were just freezing cold.
You and me both. Because I'd say from my perspective here, when you were out doing that, at one point I went back. I live close in downtown too, so I left the station, get some dinner here, kind of get everything set into play, and I had tennis shoes because it's the only thing I've got going on. It was like instant slush, instant soaking in the feet. So. It has been nasty, but when that was going on, and you were out there too, you noticed that the wind was so difficult to deal with.
Oh, it was awful.
It brought the visibility down to near zero. Wind chill values, which we didn't talk about too much, we're in the single digits in teens because that wind was so strong. But I think one explanation that I heard from somebody, one of our viewers from Ocean City, tell me it was like a snow hurricane. you know,
yeah.
With the winds blowing, and it was like being in a snow globe with that. So just touch on what you were reporting there with the driving conditions. It was just horrible to be outside. We've been saying that on Facebook, you know, stay off the roads. But I know you guys have been out and about today, and you want to speak to more about that, what you've been hearing from, you know, our reporters, because I know that there has been some improvement, but it's for places that maybe have already had a plow come through.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely. We had reporters out here in Wacomico, Worcester County, Dorchester, I believe, too, maybe Somerset. Yeah, we've been getting out there.
Yeah, so it has been it's been a long haul for us to get from off air to on air. Now we're ad-libbing here, as you can tell. We call it tap dancing.
It's bare bones.
Yeah, this is bare bones. So I'm actually going to speak out loud to the ones behind the camera right now. Do we have anyone? Where do we want to go next? Because we talked about the forecast, and I want to hear from our reporters. And I don't know if we were able to get a couple of them in. I know they're working on their stories right now. We've got Layla. Layla, why don't you go ahead? Why don't you go ahead and slide in here? You know what? You just take my spot.
All right.
You got a mic?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
yes,
you're good to go. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Layla,
hello.
I know you were working on a story for us today that we unfortunately didn't have the power to bring to you guys. Hopefully you'll see that sometime this week. Tell us what was going on today. What were you up to, Layla?
Well, Heidi, I was actually super bummed out because I had a really exciting concept for a story. So this is not the first time that Delmarva has experienced some blizzards. So I went on Facebook. I wanted to know, what was the craziest blizzard that you have experienced here in Delmarva? I'll tell you right now, as a Minnesota girl, I'm gonna give it to you guys, Delmarva. This was pretty crazy last night, right? So people got on Facebook. They were talking about 2010, 1979. People were talking about 1966. So I went out and I found those people. So I found two individuals. The first gentleman I spoke with told me that the blizzard of 2010. So I'm going to paint the scene for you.
Okay, I'm so ready.
Yes.
She's a visionary. So
I am a visionary.
Just trust.
So this gentleman, his name was James. He tells me that in 2010, he had a 2-week-long winter break for school. You know, they're out for Christmas. A blizzard hits, and they're out for an additional week. So imagine those kids have now 3 weeks out of school. They don't know what to do with themselves.
I know those parents were upset.
They were upset. They were all over the place. They didn't have any child care back then. This was over 10 years ago now, a decade ago. And he told me in that moment, everybody was getting along together because of the snow. Everybody was outside. They were all building snowmen. They were all playing with snowballs. They were all getting along. So I was like, okay, that's a really nice story. And then the second lady, Linda Twilley, if you're out there watching us right now, I met with Miss Linda Twilley. She told me that the snowstorm of 1979 was exceptionally bad. Wow. Which that really took me by surprise. She had Polaroids. I really wish I could show you guys the Polaroid pictures that she had. She had Polaroids of them when they were shoveling out the snow and everything. I was like, what a blast to the past.
That's fun. We love a little throwback there.
So I'm really hoping that I can bring you guys that story later this week. I had a whole concept. I wanted to show you guys archive footage, all of that. But unfortunately, the situation that we're in, we got to work with what we have.
We're working with what we have, and I think we're doing pretty good here. We got Layla Wea. We've got some more people coming up for you, some more reporters who have been out all day trying to get everybody. But thank you so much, Layla. We will be back very shortly with more on what's been going on here on Delmarva in this 2026 snow blizzard.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the continuing coverage of Blizzard 26 here. Is the best way to put it. And now we're obviously in the aftermath, the cleanup, and trying to wrap our heads around what was, you know, just from a weather perspective, a meteorologist perspective, an amazing, kind of hard to comprehend event. Simply from, you know, by the end of the week, last week, we were looking at potentially a strong storm system. We talked about it in the newsroom. We knew we were going to have bad snow Sunday night and a Monday morning, and nothing changed at that time frame. It's just everything became supercharged. We went from high, you know, rainfall amounts, just a chilly rain, to what would be windswept snow in the order of just a couple of hours. And, you know, at one point, meteorologist Eric Alf made a really good observation when we were outside. He's like, the snow is dumping like it's a thunderstorm. You know, the flakes were that thick, the snow was coming down at that high rate of speed, and we had all that wind to go along with it. So as a result, Delmarva locked in what is going to be hopefully a quick cleanup, because we've talked about how temperatures have been above freezing here today. So I know that you were talking with the reporters throughout the day. Heidi. on what's been happening. Just speak a little bit to that. I know that you were discussing things with Haley earlier.
Yeah, I was out in Wicomico County a little bit, looking out, checking out some house fires, checking out some electrical power lines that were down, some trees, some branches that were down. But Haley has a little bit more to tell you. Haley, you want to come share what you were?
Thank you very much.
This is what we're doing here. We're just doing trading off here. We've got one camera. And can everybody hear Haley? We're good to go with Haley? I think we're good to go with that.
Yeah, I think we're good too.
So we've been trading back and off. So this is an upgrade from the last time you and I talked, right?
Yes.
Because we were outside doing a Facebook video where we actually had the natural light. So now we do have a little bit of electricity to talk in here. So what Heidi was talking about, you've been out all day long. You were one of the reporters, the first ones in this morning, I believe, really hit the ground running here as we started to get some daylight. Talk about what you've seen so far today and everything that you've heard from people.
Yeah, so I will say we started off actually last night. We were at the DoubleTree and there were so many power outages, let alone I would say like every 2-3 minutes. So it was a struggle here right in downtown. We kicked off the morning early around 8:30. We were in-house and actually right in downtown Salisbury, there was a tree that had fell down. It was actually kind of cut in half. And they were probably picking that up, making sure it was all cleaned up around 9:30. So there's been a lot of that. We went to another neighborhood where we had that same instance. We actually met with Salisbury Fire Department a little bit earlier today where we saw the same concerns. They actually got so many calls, they had to push back a little bit and say, there's other calls that are taking top priority, such as those Salisbury fires that we were talking about with Heidi. We had one on Naylor Mill Road that was bad. And I can tell you that whole story. I don't know if you want to hear it, but
go for it. Tell everybody what you saw, what you experienced.
Yeah, so basically what started as a house fire, which was an electrical fire, ended up being a bigger problem because a tree fell down as firefighters were trying to work on the house and take it out. So it was a huge concern. They actually lost 2 pieces of equipment, which was extremely concerning, especially when you're still working on the winter storm. And, you know, just with the driving conditions and everything with the roads, it was slushy. I know I was driving back from a location this weekend, and it was awful, horrendous.
And hopefully no injuries from that?
Yes, no injuries.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Everybody got out of the house safe. All the firefighters were safe. They were working overtime exponentially, I will say, but overall safe measures. But yeah. Yeah,
and big shout out, by the way, to our first responders in this who already it's a thankless job, but in a situation like this, a breaking weather situation, horrible conditions out there, they're doing everything that we tell you not to do. We tell everyone to stay off the roads, to give them room to get out there. And just a shout out to the Allen Fire Department. I even saw on their Facebook page, they just put up a message that said, sorry everybody, we have literally been out taking calls all night long because of the snow. So I know they're very backed up and having to make priority decisions. So a very tough day for them. So give them a break too, give them a high five or something, buy them a cup of coffee if you see them, if you're going to be out, because they're going to be working overtime here throughout the week. And of course the power crews as well, getting everything back in order. But
no, what I will say is, talking about even your coverage over the weekend, what was it like seeing it completely silent for a few hours?
Well, it was harrowing, and then it was just hopeless at one point because and actually you could say this right when downtown Salisbury took this big power hit. Myself, meteorologist Eric Alf, we were doing a video update, and we were almost done with it right when the power went out. And at that point, we realized that this is a little more than just your typical, flickering or out for a few minutes and come back on. I walked outside, and you could see in the sky what in the moment I thought was lightning, but that aqua hue, and that was from transformers exploding in the distance. The power lines arcing. It reminds me of back in the blizzard of '93. I'm old here, so I'm dating myself. Blizzard of '93 in the DC area, it was the same thing. You could see the arcing power lines and the explosions in the distance, and we saw that all evening and at night here across Delmarva as those winds were picking up. And we were, obviously, like many of you out there, the recipients of some of the worst here in Salisbury. So.
Well, I will say I wasn't born in '93, but I'll take your word for
there
it.
There you go.
But
it was
yeah,
a big one.
I believe it. And I mean, this was astronomical itself. I mean, I haven't seen this much snow on the Eastern Shore ever. And granted, I've only been here for 9 months, but it's crazy to think about. And I'm just, it's
well,
crazy.
You know what? Every 4 or 5 years, I think we go through this. It's been about a little more than 4 years since our last blizzard. So here we are in cleanup.
Awesome. Well, I think we're going to toss it back to Heidi,
We're going to probably
right?
go back to Heidi, bring her back on, because I know that you still have a few more stories to get to out there.
Yes, thank you very much.
Tagging back in here.
Thank you so much, Haley. We had our reporters out today, and although the driving conditions were not the safest, we wanted to bring you guys the latest what's going on here while maintaining safety here at WMDT as well. So we will be back for more just after this break. Welcome back. We're giving you guys the latest on this 2026 Delmarva blizzard. We've had a few reporters out here today. And Rich, what's the latest update? You got anything else for us?
Well, I'll tell you what, the snow has ended. The problem with this evening, we'll get to a quick forecast here, and then we're going to talk to Brian, but the blowing and drifting is a problem. And with temperatures dropping below freezing here, especially after sunset, please be mindful of that. It will be as if there's another light accumulation of snow with all that moving around here for tonight.
All right. So, thank you, Rich. And now we want to bring in reporter Brian Roche here today, who is out in Somerset County. Right, Brian?
That's correct, Heidi, and I got to say, it's nice to finally be in front of some light for once today. For those of you who don't know, obviously we have not had our signal for the better part of about 20 hours at this point, and I got to say, even just coming in here this morning, it was such a shock to, have it be, daylight out, but then walk up the stairs into pitch black.
It's very dark in here, and it's really light outside with the snow. I know you also got blue eyes, so it's blinding a little bit. But tell me, what were you seeing out in the field today, Brian?
Well, Heidi, there were still plenty of people out in Somerset County trying to dig themselves out, and it's actually pretty rough down there, even still. In fact, I spoke with Somerset County EMA Director Chris Hampton for a little bit over the phone late this afternoon, and he's telling me that there are about 3,000 to 4,000 people countywide who are just without power. And the city of Crisfield actually put it out on their Facebook page this morning that due to the severity of the blizzard, they're stuck. They're really just stuck, trying to get to where they need to go to try and get the power back on for these people.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to people, they were stuck trying to drive back to Princess Anne. They were worried about, their trees falling over. Some of them actually did have their trees fall over and were trying to clear them out of the road. In fact, as I was driving down to Somerset on Route 13, there was just this massive line of trees on the road, and you could see just so many of them hanging over the road because, it's that thick, wet, heavy snow.
Yes.
It honestly really great, for like my nephew and my niece back home to build a snowman. Not really great to be driving under,
definitely not. Not good for walking either. As I said earlier, I've only got rain boots. My feet were freezing in that slushy snow. Other than that, how did the roads look? Was it too wet? Not too much ice out right now, right?
Thankfully, no. We're not dealing with any ice out there, but of course, it's still very wet. It's still very slushy. And you mentioned having rain boots. It's still a lot better than I am.
Yeah.
I'm just walking around in my regular shoes here, and believe me, I'm still feeling the bite of that cold hours on from now.
All right, thank you so much, Brian. And now we want to
problem.
take another look at Wacomico County with Rennell Foreman, who was also. Yes?
Yes. I think we can do that.
Yeah, we can absolutely.
We're playing musical chairs here. Yeah, we're all good. We can exit stage left or right. It doesn't matter. Rennell.
What's up, man?
I know that you've been out and about here, your own experience with the storm yourself, just getting to the station, but you're going to focus too on some of the sports cancellations, obviously, that are going on here with the schools, and that's a mess in itself here this week with the snow.
Yeah, Rich. The snow was kind of bad, guys. It wasn't good at all. I mean, I live at the Rossville downtown Salisbury, and my electric went out. I was very upset. I come into work, the electric is still out. So, there's a lot going on. And I was out in Salisbury at 13. Yeah. There was like a lot of snow. Taylor's Barbecue was blocked off. You couldn't get in. You couldn't even park. And that was kind of the story for much of the area. I talked with some landscapers, and they were just shoveling. I seen like 10 people just shoveling in and out. Yeah. So I didn't expect it to be this crazy, Rich.
Good money for the landscapers. So I did that one summer. And the shoveling, that's how you make a little extra money in the winter season here. So good for them. But yeah, I mean, we just don't deal with it this bad here in Delmarva usually, and you experienced it. Actually, you touched on what meteorologist Jake Grant was telling me yesterday when we were doing the trade-off here about midnight when it was really bad, and Jake was coming in to do the overnight here with me, and he mentioned he was literally 4 to 5 inches of snow on 13 driving through, and it was white-knuckle driving for those that had to be out there,
Yeah,
so.
and that's going to have some impacts on these sport matchups. Now, obviously, we're going to have WMDT's Chris Brunk come here shortly, but what we know as of right now, the playoffs in Delaware will be pushed back to Wednesday. That'll be the first round then. And then the Bayside Championship between Y-High and Colonel Richardson will now be pushed to Wednesday as well. So things are changing, but that's kind of what it's all about. That's why we're in the business.
Keeps us on our toes. But good thing about if there's a good thing here with the storm, the melting aspect is going to be a little quicker. So hopefully these cancellations and these makeups for these games are going to happen a little quicker than we thought.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
All right. Thanks for now. Appreciate it. And we'll hear back from him here in a little bit. We're going to continue here through the end of the half hour and start things off at 6, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then we got more coming for you later tonight at 10 and 11 with WMDT's Blake Lipton, who I believe we have coming in now.
I think, are we going to go to break first? Is that the plan? Yeah.
We're going to break now, but Blake will be just right back with us.
You.
And at 10 and 11.
Yeah. Stay with us. All right, welcome back as we continue to cover Blizzard 26 here in Delmarva. We are slowly getting back online, as you can see if you're just joining us. We get a little bit of power here in the studio. That's all we need.
That's all we need.
That's all
we got some lights. We got ourselves. We got dominoes.
That's right. We have dominoes. And thank our news director Joe Carmine for getting us some dominoes. So it's been okay here. A little I guess team building event here at WMDT. But we are still out in the community getting the stories together, keeping an eye on what's happening here, following the forecast. We've been hearing from our reporters all evening, and we've got another one to talk to here, right?
Yes, absolutely. We have WMDT's Blake Lipton coming in, who will be giving you a similar. Hey Blake, a similar off-the-cuff newscast tonight at 10 and 11. So what do you see? What's going on tonight, Blake?
Obviously, we're going to be staying with what's going on here at the station too as well. Hopefully, we're trying to get back online as soon as possible and maybe get you some more stories for the 10 and 11 o'clock. But I just wanted to pay attention to my boots right here.
Okay.
Look at that.
I don't know if they can see.
The duck boots ready for any snow, all news. So we're ready to go at 10 and 11. We're going to try and bring you some more stories and also
So more coverage for you guys, and especially more closings as well.
So what I've seen today is basically a lot of slush, a lot of back roads that haven't been plowed yet, obviously. I did see some downed trees, too. I live in downtown Salisbury, so it was kind of interesting to see some trees so close there. I'm sure in the rural areas, it's a lot worse.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Like Haley mentioned earlier, there was a electrical fire on Naylor Mill Road down in Salisbury, a little bit closer to the Henry S. Parker complex. I was out there today. So many downed trees and branches, but everyone was driving really nice and carefully, it was good to see. I'm from New Jersey. That doesn't exist where I'm from, so everyone was driving really nice and careful and being very courteous to everyone on the road.
It's a little bit different around here.
It's a little bit different. People are a lot nicer here. People are a lot more courteous on the roads, especially. But yeah.
Maybe not me, though.
I don't know, Blake. I don't know.
So,
all right. Thank you so much, Blake,
problem.
and we will see you at 10 and 11 right back here on WMDT.
All right. Let me make sure I turn the microphone on. So you can hear me? We can hear me, right? Or we're good to go.
Yeah.
Are we in break? No, we're not in break yet. Not
we
yet.
Can hear you.
We can hear you. How much time? How about this? I'm just going to call in there. How much time we got left here?
We can wrap it up. All right. And we will be right back after the break. And welcome back to WMDT News at 6. I'm Heidi Christine.
And I'm Chief Meteorologist Rich Wardzik.
And we are slowly getting back on the air here. We've been off since about 9 p.m. yesterday. Yeah, we've been working real hard to get everything back up and running for you guys, but we're giving you the latest. And Rich, what's the latest with this storm going on?
So the storm is over, but the aftermath is not. And, that unfortunately is clearly right. And I will say this, as bad as it was last night, the staying power of what happened to us here in Delmarva will not be nearly as long as, let's say, some of the storms we've had in previous winters. If this was 3 or 4 weeks ago and it was colder, this snow and ice, would last with as much as that we picked up clearly into the next week or maybe even beyond that. So probably not making the kids happy to hear that because I'm thinking that we're going to get this cleaned up here with a little help of extra melting over the next couple of days. But Heidi, the amount of snow that we had in this area, this will be talked about for quite some time. This is going to be one of those blizzards to remember, the blizzard of 26. Check these totals out here. 18 inches in Milton. Ooh. 19 inches in Angola, just south of Lewis. Downtown Lewis, 18 inches. Selbyville, 19 inches. And being a wind-driven snow, this was tough to measure. But even in Salisbury here at the station, we had about a foot. Pittsville, about a foot. Just looking up into Laurel here, a measurement of 19 inches, 17 inches near Greenwood. I'm just throwing out a few numbers here, trying to hit everybody. But even in the Caroline County, Denton, 12 inches. And the lower shore was not spared with this. You might have not picked up as much, but I mean, Pocomoke City, 9 inches, 11 inches in Chincoteague. So, wow. I mean, this is going to go down as one of the more memorable snows that we've had here in Delmarva. And the blizzard component, of course, was the wind with that. And that's what I want to speak to here with the forecast tonight. The wind is not completely backing off. So the issue we have now is it's done a good job of drying off the top of that snow. So now the snow is a bit more brittle than it was when it first attached itself to everything when it was wet. That means it's going to blow and drift. So we're going to still see edges of cleared off roads take on some of that snow, especially outside of the urban areas. That is going to be as if we got another small accumulation of snow. So that's going to be the issue tonight. We're going to drop well into the 20s, freeze over, all that good stuff. Tomorrow we should be back above freezing for a little bit. I know this doesn't sound very encouraging, but we go later into the week. Wednesday and early Thursday, I actually expect some rain. That should help to melt some of this down a little more. We should have a 50-degree day by Thursday, and then keeping an eye on the weekend as well for the chance of rain. We're not completely out of this pattern where some of these coastal storms can develop, but the higher sun angle here in February certainly has been helping out. So
you think some of that rain will help flush out all of this slush and snow and everything?
That's the hope, yeah.
Let's
and
hope
it will,
so.
it will. And a little bit of this daytime melting, that stronger sun angle is really helping. I've even noticed that today, a big difference between this morning and this afternoon.
So this kind of snow, is this good for sledding? Can the kids go sledding today?
I think this is excellent for sledding because it's already packed down and it gets that kind of icy sheen to it. You get that extra speed. I'm just thinking back to the days here. Now, of course, that makes it a little more dangerous. I've had a few spills myself, but yeah, good for the kids to do the sledding. Just be careful in your reservoirs and your ponds. You want to make sure there's an extra landing space for the kids because the slick factor or the speed factor is going to be higher with this type of sledding.
Absolutely. So. And I did see on your Facebook last night, what is this about snow thunder? Tell me more.
Oh, good observation.
I pay attention.
Yeah. So thunder snow. Yeah, has anybody seen that viral video of Jim Cantori for the Weather Channel just going nuts when he had the lightning and thunder? It's a viral video that I know a lot of people have seen. We had that last night. We actually had a lightning strike show up outside of Berlin and Worcester County. So me, Eric, and Jake celebrated that we officially achieved thunder snow last night. And it was hard to tell because a lot of the light in the distance, those were transformers and power lines arcing, so it was tough to see, but probably heard a little bit of thunder in the distance. It was either a transformer or it was actual thunder.
Wow.
There you go.
Hard to tell.
Because, and you were probably asking why we had that. It was the energy of the storm was so potent that it created thunder snow, much like a thunderstorm, and it dumped the snow on us like a thunderstorm would dump rain. So we had that process going on, very unique for us down here. Believe it or not, there were tornadic water spouts on the other side of this storm well out to sea while this was going on. So crazy.
Wow, I wish I could take a look at some of our sky cams right now. I bet those beaches look crazy.
They do. And hopefully we're going to have those on here for tonight. We're hoping, fingers crossed. We're getting better here. We got lights in the studio. We're going to work on graphics here soon.
Like I said, we're working to get back up for you guys, but slowly.
There you go.
So good things take time.
Well, speaking of blizzards here too, I mean, Layla's been doing a really good job of talking to people and kind of talk about the history of blizzards here in Delmarva. We get them. They just don't happen very often, so we'll bring her in.
Get out here, Layla.
Let's go. Okay, come on, Layla.
Is anybody going to clap?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, you know that today's theme is snow.
Yes.
You know I'm an investigator.
Really?
Yes, right. Today's beat is snow. My beat is investigations. I've been investigating all the past snow blizzards that Delmarva has experienced. So I want to start with James, my first guy, James.
All right, James.
First, I'm going to start off with a personal anecdote. I'm from Minnesota, right?
She is.
Snow is nothing new to me. Coming here, I wasn't expecting as much snow. I'm going to compare it to last year's snowstorm. This year's snowstorm is on a different level than what we experienced last year. I remember coverage last year. It was tough, it was hard, but this year was nuts, okay? So I met up with James. What he remembers is the snowstorm of 2010. The picture was he was out for winter break for 2 weeks. This big snowstorm comes and he's out for an additional week. So that's 3 weeks that these kids were out. I would love a 3-week vacation.
That reminds me of Hurricane Sandy. Same thing happened when I was just maybe
a wee gal.
Just a wee gal, a wee lass, maybe 4th grade, something like that.
Yeah, so we had that hurricane, but we had the snowstorm. Then I met up with Miss Linda Twilley, such a sweet lady, Miss Linda, if you're watching this. Unfortunately, we aren't able to play the video, but I do still remember everything that you told me. So Her snowstorm was 1979. That was a huge snowstorm for her. She showed me these Polaroid pictures. It was a blast to the past. I absolutely loved it. But you know, Heidi, just being here and experiencing this, I've just been talking with a ton of different people. They don't get it like we do out in the Midwest, like I do out in Minnesota, you know, even in Jersey, Philly. They just don't get it like that. So people were, you know, of course, a little bit nervous, but I think Delmarva really handled this snowstorm very well. People were kind.
Like I said with Blake, the driving that I saw today was very courteous. Everyone was very, you know, driving slow. Some people even had their flashers on, their hazards on. So good job, Delmarva. You're taking it well for a region that isn't used to big storms like this.
I know.
Y'all are taking it on the chin.
And even Miss Linda told me, like, the infrastructure back in 79 versus 2026, way different, right? The response time is better. People are out there, they're in droves. Even last night I was at my other job and there was a plow and at like 11 p.m. So they were really trying to get ahead of everything despite the really hard challenges because that wind was really, like Rich said, it was carrying on. It was carrying on. So I just got to say, Delmarva, you guys really did great with this snowstorm. It sounds like what was that?
Talk about the website, all the stuff we can get on the website.
We can always get this stuff on the website. I have been updating our Facebook as well. We're live despite the challenges.
Yes, and if you have any closings, schools, churches, doctors' offices, email closings@wmdt.com. That's right?
Yep, that's WMDT. That's where you can email our closing. Our master control group, they're great, and also to all the studio techs that are making sure that this show goes on. I got Jana behind the camera right there, Jana. She's making sure that our timing is all good so we can get you guys the latest news. So shout out to everybody in the studio and shout out to us. We really made it work.
Yep.
So yeah.
Thank you so much, and we will be right back after the break with more on sports closings, rescheduled games, and whatnot.
Welcome back, Delmarva. I'm Chris Brunk.
And I'm Renell Foreman.
We've got Renell Foreman here with us. We're here to give you a break from the winter weather. Of course, we've got a ton of coverage of everything going on around Delmarva, but we're here to talk sports for a few minutes. Renell, we're actually going to start with the Olympics. We got the gold medal USA hockey game yesterday. And the U.S. taking home the gold medal, the men's hockey team, for the first time since 1980, the Miracle on Ice.
Yeah, it was nuts, Chris. I'm going to be completely blank with you guys. I didn't watch the game, but I know.
You missed a good one.
But I see it in the group chats. People were talking about it.
Everyone's talking about it.
America, we won, baby. Come on. That's what it's about.
Yeah, if that doesn't fire you up. And if you didn't know, it was a 2-1 affair, the U.S. prevailing over Canada in overtime. It was Jack Hughes with the winner in OT. Goalie Connor Hellebuck, 41 saves. He was standing on his head.
Incredible.
An absolute heroic performance for some guys who were really putting on for the red, white, and blue. And that was, we got the ending of the Olympics yesterday. Final medal count, U.S. in second behind Norway. 33 medals in total, 12 golds for the U.S. So a good showing. Yeah, good showing from the United States in the Winter Olympics, officially closed. And now I think we can maybe move a little closer to home, Renell.
Yeah.
Over the weekend, we had the Henlopen Conference Championship, boys and girls basketball. In the first game, I was out there in Dover. It was Early College versus Cape Henlopen. The Cape girls, one of the best girls basketball teams in the state so far this year. They're a 2 seed in the tournament, and they played like one of the best teams in the state, getting a win over the Early College Hornets, 67-35. I hope you guys don't mind that I've got some stuff written down. I know a lot of people like to, just put it on the phone in your notes app and stuff. I'm a little old school, though. I'm a little old school.
Yeah. I was actually, I wasn't working on Saturday, but Chris, our great sports guy, Chris Brunk here, he was out there at the games, and he got a chance to, record the games and see it. Chris, how did everything go? It seems like Cape Henlopen, that's a dynasty. They're dominant.
Yeah, well, for Cape, it's really exciting for the Vikings girls basketball team because this was head coach Ron Duke's first season with them. So, he has led them to a very impressive record in Delaware, and he also won Henlopen Conference Coach of the Year.
Wow.
After the game, he was awarded that, and Cape Henlopen actually swept the awards with their boys head coach, Steve Ray, taking home the award on the boys' side. So great leadership from the top for Cape. Really impressive. So we had that result in the girls' game. Cape girls 67-35 over Early College. And then we had the boys' game after that. Dover on their home court taking on Seaford for the third consecutive year in the Henlopen Conference Championship. And unfortunately for the Blue Jays, it was the same result that we got in those first two games.
Yeah, Dover's just a great team, great basketball all around. But Seaford's showing some life here.
Yeah.
They had some good moments in the game, but it's going to come down. I'm sure they will meet later in the season. You know, it's playoff time, so it's about pressure, it's about moments, and, you know, the guys are going to step up to the plate when it's time. So.
Yeah, you have to think that Seaford is really going to want another shot at the Senators. Now, they're on opposite sides of the bracket, so if they do meet again, it's going to be for a state championship. The stage doesn't get any bigger than that. Now, the score in that game, Dover versus Seaford, it was 63-57. The Senators got that win. But, you know, a 6-point game, you think, okay, that was a pretty good game. Dover did lead for most of it, but it was a really, really exciting game. Seaford, they were down by as much as 11 points in the first half. They came back and tied the game multiple times in the third quarter, but ultimately, you know, they couldn't get it done. The Senators. Seaford, well, they're number one in football.
That's our news director.
Yeah,
right there.
we've got some heckling coming from behind the lights.
Big
Can't
Seaford,
see who that is.
Big Seaford, we can't
Seaford
see
football, number one in 1A. We saw this past fall. Congrats to the Blue Jays football team and Glenn Phillips.
Hey, what's going on with the Bayside games?
Yeah.
I know they're getting pushed back. Any latest on that?
We were looking forward to getting the Bayside Championship. Ken Island versus Stephen Decatur on the girls' side, and Colonel Richardson versus Y-High for the boys. That was supposed to be on Tuesday, but instead it has been pushed back to Wednesday, probably the safe call. We don't know what tomorrow is going to look like, so we can look forward to the girls' game at 5 o'clock and the boys' game starting at 6:45 on Wednesday at the Civic Center.
Yeah, I spoke with some of the guys at the Colonel Richardson. They had a little breakfast, a team breakfast after practice, and they're excited. They cannot wait. They want to make these top 5 plays only on DSI, the fastest 10 minutes in sports, on Delmarva. So we can't wait.
Yeah,
it's a great time.
Yeah, you're never going to see anything like our top 5 plays at 11 on Friday nights. Well, that's all the time that we have for sports. We're going to take you back to our coverage of all the winter weather that we've been getting when we come back.
All right, welcome back as we continue our coverage of Blizzard 26 here in Delmarva as we slowly get back online with the rest of you here at WMDT. Heidi, Christine, I mean, this has been one for the books, right?
It sure has. This is my first winter in Delmarva, period. I've really only spent summers here when it's nice, humid, warm, beautiful beach weather. Yeah. So it's safe to say I've never seen Delmarva like this before, but it was really beautiful out today. It really was. Yeah. I mean, the conditions are not great. Obviously, it wasn't very fun driving in it, but I saw some really pretty scenery. Some of the more rural parts of Wicomico County over by Naylor Mill Road. Yeah. It was quite pretty. Not fun to drive in, like I said. But
and I would really want to point that out. I mean, to test what you're saying there, the beauty of this, especially a wet snow, it looks so cool. Late February snows here in Delmarva. I know we're known for the beaches here, but we can get every couple years. I mean, last year we even had it, not this bad, but the wet snow, so picturesque, but bringing down those trees and limbs. And that's why, of course, we had all the power outages with the component of the wind, which brought the blizzard conditions. But much, much better, but not great. So let's get to the forecasts here. Todd, you can go ahead and throw up my graphics here because we have now progressed to being able to get back online here with some weather graphics. So we're going to start with the evening planner. So our issue here is temperatures will be dropping to near freezing, but we've lost the sunlight. So there will be quick refreeze as a result, keeping in mind that when all that heavy wet snow fell yesterday, it was like throwing ice cubes into a cooler. It cooled down the surface, so even the air temperatures above freezing, we're going to see a quick slick over going into the evening. The other issue tonight is the breeze, although not as strong. It's still strong enough that it's going to push that snow around, blowing and drifting. That's going to create more headaches, We're probably going to have more school closings and delays tomorrow, business delays. WMDT.com, we've been updating this. Sophia Peters, our web producer, has been able, she's been stuck inside herself. She's been able to actually update the website and keep everybody informed of that, so check that out. All right. How about this? Holly Kia dog walking forecast. The dogs got to get out, right?
Dogs like snow.
They do like snow. So if you have a snow pup out there, tomorrow I've got a red paw to start the day because it's just going to be so cold and really dangerous to get out there for the humans. The slip factor is definitely in play here, as we would know. The melting tomorrow afternoon is more about what you and I talked about at the beginning of the newscast at 5:30, just wet shoes or wet boots. So temperatures should drop above or jump above freezing for a bit. 7-day forecast here, so I'm going to go ahead and just move a little closer here, my friends, so I can actually see it. 49 degrees on Wednesday. Thursday, 50 with more rain. That's a good thing, right? So we'll get some rain to kind of wash things away. Saturday's forecast, a very nice start to the weekend, and the hope is that we're not going to have a repeat. Right now, no signals that would suggest another nor'easter, but keeping an eye on it because late February, early March, still the pattern would dictate that potential. And a real quick shout out. This is a look behind the scenes here with all the crew that has been helping us here, our reporters, our technical people, news directors in there too. There we go, Jen is in there. And our studio control, which I know we can't show you right now, but they've been in there doing everything that has been what we'd be tasked with impossible to keep us on air. That includes, of course, our engineers, and I mean, just a massive effort here. So everybody just wave to the camera there. I just want to give everybody a shout out there. Woo! There you go. Yeah, give yourselves a hand.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've been really, really working here to get back on air and be able to get everybody the important information that they need here with this storm. As the cleanup continues, the problems will persist as well. So I know that we've had our reporters out in the field.
Yeah, everyone's been working hard, studio crew, reporters as well. And we have WMDT's Haley Ray in here with more on Wicomico County.
There we go, Haley. And we last talked at 5:30. Haley's been out in it here since what time did you start?
I think around 8:30, but I was definitely keeping an eye out. Yesterday, the DoubleTree, like I said earlier, power was going in and out, made me worried about Tidal Health right next door. But luckily today we were able to come in. We had all the reporters here, all the anchors, like you said, everybody behind the scenes making this all possible. We were able to get into work today and really just be able to tell the stories that are going on in the county. Now, specifically for Wicomico County, we talked to the Salisbury Fire Department about all the things that are, going a little bit problematic for this county. So first we talked about the trees going down, what's happening. We had a neighborhood behind the scenes, like maybe 5 minutes away. I can't remember the name of it right now. And then we also had a tree down in the heart of downtown Salisbury, right in front of Koji. So we had a crew out working on getting that tree stored away about 9:30 this morning. And then we talked to Salisbury Fire Department about the house fire that occurred yesterday on Naylor Mill Road. It was an electrical fire, just talking about the concerns with that. And when they had their crew there, again, worrying about trees coming down on them and actually affecting their cars or their equipment. So it's been a whirlwind of a storm.
Well, it's scary too, because even as the storm was starting to wind down, we started seeing that continue with the trees falling. We haven't had a lot of severe thunderstorm wind from storms in the past couple seasons. Some places have, but we haven't cleaned out, as I like to say. Nature hasn't cleaned out the weaker limbs and big trees. So I think that that's also been a factor in what's been happening. So we're going to continue to see those fall. But to touch on what you were saying, Andrea Duran, she was our morning show reporter. She came in and saw the same thing. So.
Yeah, the heaviness of the snow and the hecticness of the driving habits, all of it has been, a little bit rocky, but we're getting the hang of it, and we're making it Eastern Shore. So.
That's right. Well, we appreciate everything you guys are doing, of course, our reporters. We're going to hear from more coming up here on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. We are just about to wrap up WMDT News at 6 today with the 2026 Delmarva Blizzard. And I have WMDT's Blake Lipton here giving us a little sneak preview at WMDT News at 10 and 11. So you guys are going to be talking about closings, school closings, church.
Closings, snow totals, what we're seeing out on the roads. Best get you informed as best we can as possible. We're running out of time here.
We're running out of time. Thank you so much for making us your choice for evening news, despite the technical difficulties. Have a good night, Delmarva.